Well, we're at Carolina Dragway, South Carolina, for the Street Car Bragging Rights race. Yesterday we were supposed to get a test pass, but it was raining all day. And into this morning, they're working on drying the track, and hopefully within an hour or so we'll get our first pass. Uh, yeah. So last time we were here last week, we didn't really get any successful testing at all. I think enough testing to figure out what our problems were. So gonna load up a tune with 25 pounds of dome pressure and trying to leave on like 7 pounds of boost at 4,100. So that should get us a fairly typical run of very low 8 second pass as long as the boost is gonna, where I'm thinking it's gonna be with these new turbos. We're in two classes, potentially three. We're in the run what you run class, which is a pretty steep class. There's some fast guys in that class for sure. And then we have a streetcar shootout, which is kind of like a dial your own class. So we'll see how that goes. They also have an overdrive class they're going to try and run tomorrow. The only stipulation for that is to have an overdrive transmission, which we do. So we can potentially be fairly competitive in that class, but they end up running. So we'll see.
It's a lovely day out here at Carolina Dragway.
Once again, I need all dome cars side by side, etc. Move some staging lanes.
So sponsored by Vengeance right there.
Some smuggling oil. We brought oil and it was used oil.
Yeah, I thought I had like 2 gallons of C6.
It was not so.
Just used oil. So we did a test pass, and everything went good except for two problems. Number one, we spun really hard, ended up trying to leave a little bit harder than I thought, so we can fix that. The other issue that could potentially be a very big deal and would put us out for being able to even race today is oil pressure at the end, probably around 1,000 feet, starts falling down. Now I have a 100 psi pressure transducer on the oil, well, for the oil, wherever the oil pickup is on the back of the block. Anyways, it's 100 psi. So it's running well over 100, probably like 120 something. So I don't know if that's damaging it or I'm running the pan dry, because if this is a high volume, high pressure pump, so it may just be pulling too much oil. So we borrowed some oil from Ron at Vengeance. Put about 2.5 quarts in there, so it has right now 10.5 quarts. If it doesn't run it dry, or the pressure does not go down, or if it only goes down a tiny bit, that'll be runnable. It goes down to about 50 something, which is not really that big of a deal, except this pump is supposed to be pushing over 100. And on the D-cell, the shutdown, it goes down to 8 or 10 pounds, which is not good. And the weird thing is how long it takes to get back the pressure that it's supposed to have. So the other thing is this track is pretty short.
A driver lost the brakes and ended up going down to the top and got into the sand trap, and unfortunately into the surgery barricade. Word is coming back that the driver is okay. That's what we were down for. Did not want to report anything with
So the shutdown here is pretty short. It only ran 170 at 25 pounds of boost. Normally run around 30, so we should be back at about 180. But it was a short shutdown. I'm going to have to get on the chutes early and get on the brakes early. And just be conscious of that, especially if I'm going to start running over 180 here. But we've got a qualifier for Run What You Brung later on this afternoon. Probably coming up within an hour or so. It's already 4, actually. We're just going to keep an eye on some stuff and see. Everything else looks good. I mean, oil pressure going up to that point is great. It ran what it was supposed to. Didn't feel like it was popping or breaking up at all, so that's good. Just got to figure out the oiling issue. Alright, so after our long struggle yesterday and the week before, we made not technically a full pass because we were only running 8th mile, but it left the line, did what it was supposed to do. It netted us a 1:20 60 foot, which is the fastest 60 foot that car's ever done. But it didn't really go all that fast in the 8th. 3:30 was 3:57. 8th mile was a 5:163 at 136. I speculate that I let out a little bit early. Unfortunately, I didn't click the data logger button hard enough, so I didn't get any data logged on that logger. Very unfortunate because I actually needed that. But I did watch the video from the windshield view because I was thinking it broke up a little bit, but it looks like I was kind of veering to the right a little bit. So I think what I was feeling was a little bit of shake from a little bit of mistraction on one tire or something like that. Anyways, watched the video. Exhaust seemed like it was on all cylinders. I didn't see anything, didn't hear anything weird. Yeah. We are here Saturday. We're going to be going into eliminations for the Run What You Brung class, and we are also signed up for the Overdrive class, which we could potentially have a chance in because they're generally slower cars, but we'll see. So we're just hurry up and wait till they call our class, and then try to put in a hot track tune-up, pulling a little bit of timing out on the launch, and we'll see how that goes.
had the launch turned down really low. Added a little bit of timing, and it broke up a little bit at the end of the track, which I thought. Well, I guess I thought it was maybe a little bit of detonation or something, and unfortunately, it looks like that's the case. Checked the coolant overflow, and it was probably about half full. I already knew what was going on, but I looked it up, and you know, everything on this side looks okay, right? And then you get to the other side, and what's this? Little bit of gasket. So it's pushed ahead gasket right there in between the cylinder, which I'll pull this plug again. I checked the plugs, it didn't look terrible. They definitely look like they had too much timing in them. I think it was making about 13 degrees of timing at 28, 29 pounds of boost. Normally run it closer to like 10 and a half, 11. But I was thinking with this fuel, the E90, it would be okay, but obviously not. It's either too much timing, or these are still 7/16 head studs. It can't hold the gasket with that much cylinder pressure. So I've got to check and make sure no rods or anything are bent, because that would definitely put us out for a very long time, actually. And see where to go from there. If everything's okay, then I guess we're just gonna turn it down a little bit and maybe work on 60-foot stuff, and that's about all we can do with this engine until we can afford to step into something that's capable of holding a little bit more power. You see the offending area?
I believe so.
So the big deal here is, are any of the rods bent? And what caused this? Being in between right here is the weakest part because of the way the head bolt design is. No damage on the deck surface. I would assume everywhere that it's shiny is probably where I was having clamping issues. Because it's pushed out that coating. You can see right here where it reclamped on the offending area. So it looks like everything was unhappy. So I'm probably gonna pull the other side as well. I don't think that side is pushed out like this one, but I think there's still gonna be some shiny spots where the water was, combustion water, whatever. I guess it would just be combustion right here. This one definitely pushed out, but I don't think it got into the water. just had enough to get a little bit of pressure in the coolant system. I have to take out the dial indicator and check the height of the pistons and make sure that they match. Because if they don't, got big problems. Well, this other side looks like it was about ready to go too. See how uneven that gasket is. It's been very tweaked up. I've checked each piston. If you want to get real close, see, it's all touching on every single piston. There's no gap underneath, so they're all where they're supposed to be. Checked all of them. They're all like that. So it doesn't look like there's any bent rods or anything, so that's really good. So looks like we'll just have to put head gaskets on it and probably have those cylinder heads skimmed, put everything back together, and then just turn it down just a little bit, and it should be okay. But just can't make any more power, so we're stuck kind of running the same times we have been. Maybe we can do a little bit with the 1/8 mile 60-foot stuff, but as far as out the back door, about 180 is our top speed, so it'd be like 770, 780, something like that will be the most that we can run until we get a setup that'll make a little bit more power. But looks like crisis averted. Lesson learned, I suppose. Better safe than sorry.